Covering news that matters. Fox 23 News at 6:30 starts right now.
Thanks for joining me at 6:30. I'm Rick Maranon. Tonight I'm speaking in depth and unedited with Broken Arrow's Police Chief Lance Arnold about multiple topics, and it includes the recent uptick in gun violence next door to his city in the city of Tulsa. I asked if he was concerned if these fighting groups are at risk of going into his city, among other topics. Here's the chief unedited. Joining me today is Broken Arrow Police Chief Lance Arnold to speak unedited about some recent news that has been happening around the area in the way of crime. Thanks for joining me, Chief. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Rick. Always a pleasure.
No doubt you've seen the news next door in Tulsa, and I'm just wondering, do you feel you need to make any changes if this group of kids comes your way, or have you, do you need to change anything you're doing to address this?
I don't believe so, Rick. I mean, you know, we've had some instances where we've had, you know, groups of kids that have a parent or an adult rented an Airbnb for the weekend or something like that. Those have been kind of few and far between. They're similar maybe in some of what's happened in Tulsa, but certainly not to that scale. And again, they've been few and far between, and we've really stayed on top of that. And we're very fortunate in Broken Arrow that we don't see a lot of violent crime.
I know one of the concerns is with Tulsa debating a curfew, if you shut down part of that city, they will scatter maybe into Broken Arrow or something like that. Do you all anticipate, you know, hey, we've got a large crowd, you know,
right.
let me phone it in kind of situation, or even possibly a curfew change on y'all's end?
No, we've had a curfew on the books for a long time, and so our curfew is citywide and doesn't focus on a specific area or anything like that. But we have an 11 p.m. curfew during weekdays and a midnight curfew on weekends. Anyone 17 and under, unless of course they're doing something that's work-related, school-related, running an errand for their parents or guardians, something like that. But we stay on top of that pretty well too, and been very fortunate that our officers are out proactive. They're looking at that, you know, in that age range, just like our parents told us. Usually, a lot of good things don't happen after midnight. So.
One of the most popular stories this year has been your paper tag crackdown. Are you still doing that, and how has it been going?
We are. We have our first month kind of preliminary results. So we were averaging about 15 car stops a day, about 500
15 a day.
A day, right. So 500 last month, and of those, about half of them we wrote citations for, and about half of them we gave people warnings. Again, it's still about educating the public and really just trying to get people to comply with our state laws and comply with registering their vehicles, making sure they have insurance, because that's a piece of it too, you know. But it's going well, and we're continuing to do that.
What? I don't know if you can tell me, what was the common excuse? I forgot, or
you know, sometimes it's an unawareness. Honestly, they do forget. That probably tends to be the most common excuse. And then just the number of people, even if they had metal tags but they were expired tags, if they get noticed or something, they just forget about it. That's probably is the most common excuse.
How long are you going to continue? Obviously the law is the law, right, going into perpetuity, right, but how long do you plan on continuing this specific focus?
Yeah, I think as long as our numbers are showing that there's still an issue that's out there, and that we're continuing to stop that amount, 15 cars a day just for that violation alone, even though there are lots of people that are coming through Broken Arrow, that still tells us that there's work to be done.
Any crazy stories, like you found one from 2013 or anything like that? Or
no, well, you'd be surprised. I mean, we have found them. That's a good one. 2014, 2015. Certainly fictitious or altered. All those kinds of things. And then, like I mentioned before, our part of that is that criminal element that sometimes comes along with that. So what we found is some of the people we're stopping that do have those altered or fictitious, well, they've got warrants, so they've got controlled substances in the vehicle or something like that. And so, about what we expected.
Have you done impounding? I know that was a fine line you wanted to walk there.
Right.
Was, don't leave mom on the side of the road.
Yeah. And, I'm not aware that we did a lot of it. I think mainly just the citations and, warnings and trying to get people to comply.
Let's talk about summertime. Obviously, 4th of July, you've got some people who will go to the lake for days. Somebody might just leave the house for 2 hours.
Right.
Either way, that's a window there. What are the big mistakes people make when it comes to leaving their house? I mean, obviously, we're a high-tech folk, but
right,
people still break into houses.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sometimes, honestly, just leaving their garage doors open mistakenly or whatever. I've done that. I've gotten the angry phone call from my spouse saying, hey, you left the garage door open again.
I did it this morning, confession.
Right. Yeah. So that's one of them. I think letting your neighbors know if you're going to be gone for a few days, days or going on that vacation or something. You know, really, I think we've gotten away from sometimes in some areas where we're not talking to or communicating with our neighbors, but letting them know that, hey, you know, somebody may be looking at the house, somebody may not. Letting your mail stack up if you're going to be gone on vacation, certainly all those kinds of things. But the other part about being safety is wherever you are going, having a plan, especially if you're going to the water. Water safety is a huge thing. So if you're going to be boating, make sure you have those personal flotation devices, that you have one for everybody in the boat, that you're using the cutoff switch that's required by state law. Any body of water that, you know, you have adult supervision around kids, and that you're applying plenty of sunscreen.
Let's say, because it is such a high-tech age, and I've wondered this myself, I'm like in Mexico or Florida and I see someone breaking, and obviously if I call 911, that doesn't get routed to you.
Right.
How do I handle the information? Do I call your non-emergency number?
Yeah,
or something
absolutely.
like
That's
that?
exactly
how
what
does that
you
work?
do. Yeah, so that would be the best thing to do, is just call our non-emergency line. That way you know that it's coming to us, right? If you do call 911, let's say you're not in Mexico, but you're in the United States somewhere or whatever, then that 911 center that does answer that phone can certainly route you to our communications center. So that's definitely something. You know, the other thing that we do is vacation home watches. And so if you call in and ask for a vacation home watch, then we're going to go by and check on your house for you. That's one of the things that we're proud to say that we still offer in Broken Arrow.
Wow. Do you need notice for that, or like?
Yeah, well, you know,
I mean, obviously, yes, I'm going on vacation.
There's an online format to be able to do that, so you don't even necessarily have to make contact with us. But yeah, if it comes in even on the day that you're leaving, it's going to go on our list, and our officers are going to go by and check.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about one more thing. You have more grapplers.
Yes, we do.
Are they installed, and what is your plan for those?
Yeah, they're installed. Officers are trained. We even got a chance to bring our city council members out to let them kind of experience that. We're getting more vehicles in and more vehicles outfitted. So our plan moving forward is most of our full-size vehicles. We do still keep a fleet that has got some mid-size vehicles, and these have to go on full-size vehicles. But all of our full-size vehicles moving forward are going to have the grappler system on there. We feel like it's just a safe alternative to even stop sticks or continue to pursue someone.
I was going to say, what is the goal here with adding more?
Right.
I mean, you had one.
Right.
Why was the one needed? Why did you need more?
Yeah, just the availability, right? So we've actually, you know, in that one that we had where we assisted Tulsa Police Department in a pursuit that came into our city, you know, that officer was just the right time, right place. If they had been on days off or they hadn't been in that part of the city or something like that, then that pursuit would have continued to go through a very busy street on Elm in Broken Arrow. And so I think the more that we can deploy, the more chances we have of stopping a pursuit earlier, or sometimes stopping it before it even begins, but you know, when we pull up behind them or something. So,
Chief, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.